If you think the dinosaurs faced Earth's greatest extinction, think again. The deadliest catastrophe in our planet's history happened millions of years before the first dinosaur ever walked the Earth. Scientists call it the Great Dying. Around 252 million years ago, nearly 90% of all species disappeared, bringing life closer to total extinction than ever before. Entire ecosystems vanished, oceans became deadly, forests collapsed, and the world transformed into a place where survival itself became almost impossible. But what could destroy almost an entire planet? To find the answer, we have to travel back to a world long before dinosaurs ruled the Earth.
Back then, every continent was connected into one giant supercontinent called Pangaea, surrounded by a single massive ocean known as Panthalassa. Dense forests stretched for thousands of kilometers, rivers flowed across endless landscapes, and life had never seemed more successful. Strange reptiles roamed the land, while giant insects crawled through ancient forests. Beneath the waves, coral reefs, trilobites, and countless marine creatures flourished. After hundreds of millions of years of evolution, Earth's ecosystems appeared stronger than ever. Nothing suggested that this thriving world was about to collapse. Then, deep beneath what is now Siberia, something enormous began to happen. The Earth's crust cracked open, releasing rivers of molten lava onto the surface. These weren't ordinary volcanic eruptions. They continued almost non-stop for hundreds of thousands of years, covering millions of square kilometers in lava. Today, scientists call this enormous volcanic region the Siberian Traps, one of the largest volcanic events our planet has ever experienced. Every eruption released unimaginable amounts of carbon dioxide, methane, and sulfur gases into the atmosphere. Slowly, the climate began to change.
At first, the changes were gradual. Temperatures rose, seasons became more extreme, and rainfall patterns shifted across the planet. Then, the warming accelerated. Some regions became more than 10 degrees Celsius hotter, turning once thriving habitats into hostile environments. Acid rain damaged forests and poisoned rivers. Wildfires spread across dry landscapes, filling the skies with smoke and ash. The Earth itself seemed to be falling apart. But the greatest disaster wasn't happening on land. It was happening beneath the waves. As the oceans absorbed more carbon dioxide, they became warmer and increasingly acidic. Many shell-forming animals could no longer survive. Warmer water also held less oxygen, causing marine animals to slowly suffocate. Entire underwater ecosystems collapsed. Coral reefs disappeared, and countless species that had existed for millions of years simply vanished.
Then, the oceans became even more dangerous. Without oxygen, bacteria that normally lived deep below the seafloor spread rapidly through the water. These bacteria released hydrogen sulfide, a poisonous gas deadly to most life. Scientists believe parts of the ocean became completely toxic. Imagine swimming through an ocean where the water itself could kill you. For countless marine animals, there was simply nowhere left to escape. By the end of the catastrophe, more than 90% of all marine species had disappeared forever. The continents weren't any safer. Huge amphibians disappeared, reptiles struggled to survive, and many insects suffered one of the largest extinction events ever recorded. Ancient forests that had covered the planet for millions of years were reduced to scattered patches. Food chains collapsed as predators lost their prey and herbivores lost the plants they depended on. By the end of the Great Dying, around 70% of all land vertebrate species had vanished.
For centuries, no one knew what had caused this unimaginable disaster. The evidence remained hidden deep inside ancient rocks. Then, scientists discovered massive lava flows in Siberia, chemical fingerprints of extreme warming, and fossils that suddenly disappeared from the geological record. Piece by piece, they reconstructed Earth's greatest catastrophe, revealing that one disaster triggered another in a devastating chain reaction. Volcanoes caused climate change. Climate change poisoned the oceans. Poisoned oceans destroyed ecosystems. Together, they nearly ended complex life forever. Yet, somehow, life survived. A few resilient species managed to endure the planet's darkest chapter. Recovery wasn't quick. Earth remained a damaged world for nearly 10 million years, one of the longest recoveries in its history. Slowly, forests returned, new ecosystems formed, and entirely new groups of animals evolved into the empty habitats left behind. Among those survivors were the ancestors of a group that would eventually dominate the planet, the dinosaurs. Without the Great Dying clearing Earth's ecosystems, they may never have become the rulers of the prehistoric world. And without the dinosaurs, mammals, including our own ancestors.
The Great Dying wasn't just the worst extinction in Earth's history. It completely reset the story of life on our planet. Every forest, every animal, and every human alive today exists because life somehow survived Earth's darkest day. Sometimes, the end of one world becomes the beginning of another.